Hey folks, how we going? Bit of light rain here today in very late July in Sydney, but I'll persevere with this one. It's just sort of light rain. I'm in some beautiful Cumberland Plain woodlands, Lansdowne Reserve in the sort of Bass Hill, Lansdowne area in Bankstown, LGA. Henry Lawson Drive just over there. If you want to see some Cumberland Plain woodlands, this is one of the best patches you can come and see. It's totally preserved by Bankstown Council. I have heard it's a designated crash zone for Bankstown Airport as well, so maybe that's part of the conservation impetus on it. But it's got a nice mountain biking sort of bitumen track going through it. It's a really nice place to come and check out some Cumberland Plain woodland. I've waited to do a video on this one until it's flowering because it's a real stunner when it's in flower. This is Acacia decurrens and haven't made a video on this one yet. I don't think it's at its peak flowering yet. It could probably go another week or two before it's really beautiful, but this is probably good enough, I'd say. Just late July, ticking over into August at the end of the week. Acacia decurrens, it's a New South Wales wattle only, naturally, but it has gone weedy in a lot of other places. It's now in Victoria, Tasmania, and Western Australia and Queensland, naturalised. So it's well and truly escaped its natural range, probably through planting, maybe direct seeding along highways and road verges, and maybe through planting in bush regeneration efforts as well. But it's well and truly escaped the natural range. The natural range is thought to be sort of from the Hunter Valley to the ACT in New South Wales and through the Sydney area. That's about the general natural range. I didn't really look up locations, but just, the Hunter Valley area there somewhere down to the ACT. It doesn't go too much further west than that. And it's very common through Sydney. In this Cumberland Plain woodlands, it well and truly belongs. It's a natural here, and there's no way we treat it as a weed. They can get tall, Acacia decurrens, about 15 metres. I've seen them up to. Maybe the tallest one I've seen is about 12, 13, but they can push 15 metres tall. They tend to start off with a green trunk, which then goes black. And this one's got a hell of a lot of gum or keno or resin coming out of it. Very sticky. They tend to be a very fast-lived and short-lived wattle. So they live hard and fast. They die young. They tend to get a lot of borer, die back like these lower branches here. And then what they tend to do is spectacularly fall over and sort of create a hell of a mess like these ones here. Dropping branches, falling over. That's really typical for Acacia decurrens. They look good for a little while and then they just tend to die and fall over. But we won't hold that against them. They are a good, a nice tree when they're in their prime. In terms of planting them, you might just want to pick one that's a bit more reliable and longer lived. Here we're on clay soil, but they don't have any problem growing on sandstone areas either, though I don't think they really belong on the sandstone country, but they well and truly are happy here on the shale and the alluvium on the river flats as well. Acacia decurrens, the species name, it refers to the petiole of the leaf sort of merging in with the stem in what they call sort of decurrencies. It's got these flanges on the edge and the whole leaf will sort of merge in with the stem there. I'm probably not going to be able to demonstrate it too well with the phone, but that's what we mean, or botanists mean by decurrent, when the petiole sort of merges into the stem there with these flanges. And it's one of the features of Acacia decurrens. So when you have a look at it, you'll do a better job sort of looking at it yourself rather than me demonstrating it, but you might be able to see what I mean there just with, and it's going to be hard for me to manipulate, but you're pushing back that petiole and it's just got tissue that's sort of glued itself into the stem there, and it's sort of almost like two lanes sort of merging, I guess. or two things merging together. That's a feature of decurrens. That's what the botanical name means. But Acacia decurrens seems to have, as far as these sort of Sydney and further afield bipinnate wattles go, it's got the largest and sort of more spaced out pinnules in that Parametensis mearnsii, Felicifolia, irorata group. I know the pinnules of Acacia alata and terminalis are a lot bigger, but they're very different plants. This is in with all those sort of similar ones, Parametensis mearnsii, etc. And they've got the more sort of spaced out and longer pinnules. They've got pinnules up to about maybe 15 mil long, maybe getting up to 20 mil, although possibly not quite that long, maybe 15 mil. And they remind me of a comb, sort of a hair comb. They're well and truly spaced out. And they're not sort of the more crowded like irorata and mearnsii and Felicifolia, I find. Although you can get hold of some leaves of Felicifolia and they can be looking a little bit like decurrens at times. The thing about Acacia decurrens, which I find is pretty concrete, is they tend to lack the interjugary glands, and they just have jugary glands. That's one of their features. I'll just get another leaf that I didn't completely mangle. I very rarely, if at all, see interjugary glands on Acacia decurrens. They're always jugary. And I'm going to try and zoom in here. There they are, just at the junction of pairs of what we call pinna or pinnae. And you're getting these sort of jugary or subjugary glands here. I never see interjugary. I never see them in between. If you don't know what I mean, just have a look at my other Wattle videos. But Felicifolia has a lot of interjugary glands. Remember irorata, it just has jugary glands up the top. Decurrens has some regularly all the way down. Or that one's well and truly subjugary there. But that's what I sort of associate with Acacia decurrens. I don't normally see them as subjugary as this. Normally they're pretty concretely jugary. But you can see there's no second gland there in between the pairs of pinnae as we go down what we call the rachis. That's normally pretty reliable on Acacia decurrens. If they're intergrading with maybe Parametensis, then we might expect a few interjugary glands there, and Parametensis tends to throw one interjugary gland further down. Just remember, Parametensis flowers in summer. It's a summer flowerer, and Acacia decurrens is well and truly winter. So that's one of the differences too. I made a video on Parametensis when they're in summer, when it was in full flower. And here's our beautiful flowers. They can be really, really stunning in decurrens. They can put on a hell of a show. Each globular head is described as having somewhere up to 20 to 30 flowers. So remember, you can get these ones in bud and you can count the individual flowers if you want to. You can just count how many might be on a head. That's going to give me a bit of a headache, especially looking through the phone, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. There's about 12 there in view on one side, maybe more. Turn the whole thing over and you might get 20 to 30 around a 360-degree radius. So 20 to 30 or 35 flowers in each head, and then they put on the heads in these beautiful sprays. And they might last about a month. Remember Wattles, they do things really quickly. It's a little bit blink and you miss them. Wattle time's a nice time, but it can be over really quickly. You know, by the middle of September, it's all sort of over. With some maybe flowering a bit later. But Acacia decurrens, it's typically July to August, and that's pretty reliable. Like I said, I think it's got another week or two to go to hit its best. If you want to collect the seed, you've got to be quick. You've got to sort of be here probably in September, October, looking for the pods to ripen up. And Acacia decurrens will produce a lot of pods. A lot of pods with black seeds inside, and then they'll all drop to the ground. it'll produce those quite quickly. You normally see a lot of ants on Acacia decurrens. I'm not seeing them today and it is winter, but it's one of these ones that if you collect it, you can normally get a lot of ants running up and down the stems. And the ants are well and truly protecting the tree from attack from other parasites and I guess harmful insects and invertebrates and things like that. So I have collected bags of it for Wattle workshops. And there's a ton of ants running up and down the stems. So they're beautiful, beautiful trees, decurrens. If I just zoom in there, pretty much all that yellow that we can just see scattered through the eucalyptus sort of regenerating mid-story there. That's all Acacia decurrens. They continue along this track here. And you can see how tall they're getting. Nice, genuine wattle. To me, they get bigger than Paramitensis. A lot of the time. They don't get as big as something like Acacia alata, but you know, a 10 metre, 12 metre tree, that's no problem for them a lot of the time. Maybe there's years where they don't put on as good a flowering as what they could. Definitely when they're out in the full sun with minimal competition, they really put on an excellent show. Just going to check this leaf again. You can normally, you know, really get it consistently, just what's going on with the glands there. You can see that there. That's so consistent for decurrens. They're a nice mid-green colour. There's no hint of blue in them. They're a nice mid-green to light green a lot of the time. And maybe overall the leaves can be, the bipinnate leaves can be something like maybe 10 centimetres long by maybe about, you know, something like 8 centimetres wide or something like that. Leaf here is easily 15 centimetres. So that's normally the dimensions. They don't get huge big leaves like something like Acacia alata. But something up to 15 centimetres, maybe 15 by 10 is something you're looking for with this bipinnate one. I look out for them July, August. And like I said, I reckon in 2 weeks, they'll probably be looking even better than what they do now. But Lansdowne Reserve, Bankstown area in Sydney, it's well worth checking out. It's a beautiful walk. There's some endangered plants in here as well, or threatened plants you can check out too.